Hello and welcome to this latest online video blog here at jimmurphymp.com. And I know that a lot of you enjoyed the last couple of weeks' video blogs with the interviews with Superintendent Shearer, so thank you for all your questions, and I hope you found the responses from Superintendent Shearer interesting and hopefully reassuring as to how local police are combating crime. Now again, it's been quite a busy week locally. I've been visiting St John's School in Barrhead, reading as part of National Storytelling Week. I think it was a Horrid Henry book that I read to them, so I enjoyed that probably more than they did. Also been Fair Trade Fortnight. Just a huge number of people have been involved in this, and fair trade competitions, fair trade shopping, and the way in which the schools in particular here in East Redshire have got really involved in this, I think bodes well for the future. A group of young people, teenagers, who look beyond their own family life, look beyond their own borders, and consider themselves responsible and having a responsibility to others, particularly the poorest people and nations of the world. Closer to home than that, the announcement this week of high-speed rail. The idea here is that we're generally the fastest trains the country has ever known. If you currently travel to London, the trains go at 125 miles an hour. This new plan, this new investment would see trains going at double that speed, 250 miles an hour. Now the building of this will take about £30 billion to start with. Starts in London, up to Birmingham, Leeds and Manchester. And even that building will reduce the travel to London time from Glasgow or Edinburgh by an hour, because the normal trains will travel at 125 miles on the standard track, join that super fast track and double its speed. And in time we want to see that line also come into Scotland, and we're committed to the business case to see if we can make that happen. Now in politics, I think you'll have seen yourself, the issue continues to be funding for the Conservative Party and Lord Ashcroft. You've got to fund political campaigns, I know that, but I do think it's just downright wrong for someone who doesn't pay tax in this country to try and buy the election. And now he's saying he'll pay taxes in the future if the Conservative Party wins. We can't run a country like that. We can't run a country where you only pay your tax if the guys that you back actually win the election. And you can't have one rule for Lord Ashcroft and one rule for everybody else. And all across East Redshire you see these billboards, these Tory party billboards, no Labour billboards, no Liberals, no SNP, just Tory billboards, Tory adverts in all the newspapers and everything else. Who's giving them all this money? The fact is that Lord Ashcroft is bankrolling the Conservative Party in an unprecedented way in the history of our elections. The only good news is it doesn't seem to be working. People see through it. People realise what's happening. And the more that people look at David Cameron, they realise he probably just hasn't got it. Superficially pleasant, can be reasonable on television, but just he hasn't got what it takes to be the Prime Minister of the fifth largest economy in the world. And him and his sidekick, George Osborne, they just seem like boys trying to do a man's job. I think that's why you probably see the narrowing of the opinion polls. It's not about age, it's not about background, it's just about ability. Gordon Brown and Alistair Darling are just a much more formidable team than David Cameron and George Osborne. So let's look and see what happens with these polls over the next wee while. I think they'll continue to close in this really tight two-horse race, and I'm looking forward to the election, whenever it comes. Anyway, get in touch with your views, your ideas, your comments and your thoughts at jimmurphymp.com.